A lot of adjectives used as of late to describe the East. Deep, not one of them. The picture and the stack that you look at in the East right now, there's no mystery who's at the top. The balance of power is Georgia. It's everyone else. It's been that way for a few years now. I have not viewed Georgia within the context of the SEC East for a couple of years. The reason is because every facet of their program is operating at a higher level. They are recruiting at a higher level than whoever number 2 is. They have investment financially to a degree way higher than whoever number 2 is. Their coaching staff is the best in the SEC, or has been in the SEC East over the last several years. Everything they're doing, it's been done at a higher level. They've been developing well. Everything they've done has been done at a higher level. So I viewed them within the context of, can they win the SEC? That's how I enter every year thinking about Georgia. Can they win the SEC? And who are they going to face in Atlanta if and when they get there? It's been pretty safe to pencil them in there for a few years now. But every aspect of that program is operating at a higher level. That's not a mystery. The big question, of course, million, billion, trillion-dollar question on everyone's mind in the East is there anyone here currently? You can talk program or head coach of program. I'll do both. Is there anyone here currently capable of unseating them, of dethroning the champ, if you really want to write it or say it in headline form? What do we have? Well, we got Florida and Tennessee. I think those are obviously the two most likely candidates, with South Carolina maybe being a 2B or 2C. I don't know how you'd want to align them. I would put a spotlight on Florida and Tennessee right this second before I would Carolina. Where is Florida, though? Who are they? You know, I was making the independent argument about the SEC West. The funny thing about Florida is, if Dan Mullen's team, if his program, if they were an independent, think about what they did last year, and think about them not in the context, just for a second, of the SEC East. If you got a team that's now racked up back-to-back double-digit win seasons, they just won 11-2. They won a New Year's Six game. They won the Orange Bowl. They finished number 6 in the country come season's end. That's a great year. That's wonderful. And yet there's a lot of dissatisfaction. There's encouragement and there's optimism, but ultimately you're left feeling unsatisfied because you're not an independent. You happen to be parked in the same division as one of the best in the sport. That's Kirby Smart in Georgia. So 11-2 last year, that was Florida. New Year's 6 win, that was Florida. Top 6 finish, that was Florida. And yet in every metric, they're left looking up at their biggest rival, and that's the University of Georgia. So who are they? Well, they're a really good program. That's who Florida is right now. They're a really good program. They got a really good to a great head coach. Their staff, talked about this with Steve Wiltfong some the other day on another broadcast. The recruiting aspect of that staff is what continues to elevate inch by inch by inch. And I was talking to someone else down there who didn't necessarily want to be named, but one of the things that the people inside the Florida program are excited about is the behind-the-scenes aspect, the support staff, the infrastructure, the analysts, all the folks that you need to run a true recruiting machine that maybe they didn't feel like they had, certainly to the degree that a Georgia or an Alabama or a Clemson has it a couple of years ago. They feel like they're still not where they want to be to call themselves great. They're a lot further along, maybe, than they were a couple of years ago. That's the feeling right now in Gainesville. But Florida, who are they? They're really, really good in a division where you have to be great to be the best. Who's Tennessee? Tennessee, there's a little bit of a gap below, obviously. Florida, you saw it on the field last year. You don't have to have watched that game to understand there was a lot more mountain to climb for the rebuild project that Jeremy Pruitt inherited. But to me, along with Texas A&M, if you look over to the East, Tennessee is the SEC Eastern Division version of Texas A&M. They are my team that I'll be watching the most. I would love to have seen a lot of Harrison Bailey, for example, the incoming quarterback, the guy who probably the day he steps on campus is the most talented, just raw talent, the most talented option that they have at quarterback. You know how spring went. We didn't get to see things. What's it going to take, though, to unseat Georgia? I'll answer the question for any of these teams. What it takes to unseat them, you can do one of two ways. You can either out-recruit them. I don't think there's a staff in the SEC East capable of out-recruiting Georgia right now. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying with the current staff makeups that I see in Gainesville and Tennessee, I don't think that either of those programs are finishing higher than Georgia. Reserve the right to change my mind. They reserve the right to change their staffs. So we'll see about that. But if you're not going to go the route of just out-recruiting them, therefore out-athleting them, you got to have a great quarterback. You got to have a precision passing attack and great quarterback play. You can take Kirby Smart's career all the way back to when he was at Alabama. They would occasionally get beat. And there was this misconception for a while that he was getting beaten because, well, these up-tempo, no-huddle offenses, they're tying him in pretzels. That was never the case. The games where Alabama lost, the games where Georgia loses, go back and watch them, guys. It's not a quarterback running for 250 yards. It's a quarterback threading the needle into really, really good coverage, whether it be Bo Wallace a couple of years ago. Ole Miss turned the trick a couple of times on him. But whatever the case may be, if you're not going to out-recruit him, you better have really good quarterback play, and you better have a red-hot Saturday afternoon against him. So let's ask the question, is Jared Garantano that guy at Tennessee? My brutally honest answer is I don't think he is. Is Brian Maurer that guy? No, I don't think he is. It's why you have bright red Sharpie circled around the name Harrison Bailey. I don't know anything about what Harrison Bailey is going to be like as a college quarterback. What I do know from people I trust is, again, like I said, the moment he steps on campus, that guy, you're watching B-roll of him right now, that guy is the most talented option that they have. Doesn't mean he's the best quarterback that they have, most talented option. So is Tennessee in a situation where they can capitalize on all that this year? I don't know that. But shift the road down the ways a bit to Florida, and you get a lot closer to having some folks say yes to the question, do you have the quarterback play to beat Georgia? Because Kyle Trask is, what is he, a redshirt senior now? He's like 27 years old, Colin. So he's got some experience, and they've got some talent around him. And you've got a head coaching staff down here a few years in now to building a roster. So I think the answer from Florida folks is a hesitant, yeah, we kind of think we're there. I don't know that they're ready to bet their lives on it, or life savings at least, but I think they feel like maybe they're a lot closer. So you either got to out-recruit them, or you got to outplay them at the quarterback position. And the answer to either one of those in the terms of can someone in the SEC Eastern Division do it is right now, to me, it's a maybe at best. I can tell you this, though. If you thrive on disrespect, then it's going to be a good year for Florida or Tennessee. Because I don't get the sense that very many people outside of Gainesville, or maybe outside of Knoxville, I don't get the sense that many people believe there's anyone in the East capable of knocking Georgia off. And I'm not going to try and make my living of picking the year when it happens. My default stance is, until further notice, Georgia is the favorite. Georgia runs this division. And then once someone proves me wrong and proves that adage wrong, that's great, and I'll be the first to rush to the front of the line and embrace them. Until then, still Georgia's division and everyone else.